My relationship with Teresa is very toxic. It's burdensome. It's overwhelming.
Kiara is mean-spirited. She's a bully, aggressive.
I don't feel the love. I don't call her mom. I just feel like she has no soul. My son Maxwell died in my womb not even 1 month ago. It's the most devastating day of my life. I depended on Teresa to be there for me like any mother would, but instead, she reached out to all of her friends.
I went on social media and solicited my friends about the passing of Maxwell and to keep my family in their prayers. I felt that I'd earned the right as a grandmother to share my grief and my pain.
Teresa made Maxwell's death about her. We didn't even get the opportunity to grieve our son's death before Teresa took it from us. I never remember Teresa ever hugging us, kissing us.
She's never called me and said, "Hey, Mom, this is Kiara, how you doing?" It's always, "Hey," like she's talking to one of her girlfriends.
Teresa's probably one of the most evil, wicked persons I've ever met in my life.
She treats me as if I'm someone off the street.
Teresa is always telling me how much she hates me.
She has no boundary to what she says to me. I have called Kiara evil. She was ugly. I told her I hated her.
Teresa may have thought that she was just disciplining us, but it was abuse. Teresa would slap me, she would grab me by my hair, drag me throughout the hallways, punch me, shove me, kick me, whoop me with iron cords.
One time I was angry with Kiara. I grabbed her by her weave and pulled her back and disciplined her with my hand. When my grandson just recently passed, Kiara should have died instead of him because I felt offended by her disrespect.
Teresa texts me things like, "Maxwell deserved better than what you gave him. God ain't done with your low life. Bitch, you're dead to me. You're a waste of life." Teresa is just knocking me down. She says I'm not her daughter. I'm angry and I'm hurt. I'm tired of having to put on this face like everything's okay, but it's not.
Y'all have not seen each other since you lost the baby, right?
Right.
And I'm very sorry for your loss,
Thank
by
you.
the way.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I am.
You're not.
I am.
Tell me about the moment that you learned about losing your child.
I no longer felt him moving, so I went to the hospital. They did an ultrasound, told me he no longer had a heartbeat. No one knows what happened to him. The doctors can't give me an explanation for a healthy baby dying 4 weeks before he's due. So for her to blame me for his death, you're the reason why he died, how could she say that? How could you say that? How could you text me that while I'm laying in the hospital recovering and you know that, you knew that?
You know what, Kiara, that was a repercussion from actions you took. It was part of the problem with your defiance, your disrespect, your lack of appreciation for me as a mother. When I called you to check in on you, "Hi, Kiara, how are you, baby?" We were talking. The conversation went left because what? I says, the friends send their condolences.
I'm a very private person, you know that. You didn't even give me one day to just grieve him.
Miss Private, give me a second. Because I understand that Maxwell isn't my child. I didn't carry him. But at the same time, you know full well, I'm a damn good grandmother. And whether he was
about you.
That's the problem.
This is not about you.
That's the problem. It involves my feelings, something that you all have failed.
Teresa,
Kiara,
listen to me.
You need to listen because this is the problem. You all have failed to understand that at some point it is about me.
This moment,
I didn't try to take your moment away from you.
About you.
We're talking about where the problem began. And this is what you have a problem with. You always want to jump to the result, to the result. I deal with cause and effect.
Are you telling me that you're here to justify the text message that you sent her? Let's take a look at the message you sent. And
yes.
you said you meant it. You said you need an exorcism.
She does.
You're just evil.
She is.
And confused.
She is.
Our relationship will never recover. Look at how ugly you are inside and out, because you're an evil bitch. I wish Maxwell had survived and you died, bitch. You're a waste of life. Now, this is while she is lying in the hospital bed. How does it affect you that she responds to hearing that even now?
How does that affect me?
With pain and tears of pain in front of you right now.
You know, I actually have mixed emotions. I didn't just wake up, Kiara, and text you the next day. You is what you do. You never leave things alone. You text me a message. Oh, I know you mean well. I didn't believe it because I feel like anything you say concerning me and how you claim you love and appreciate me, you don't show it. You say it.
Okay, wait a minute. You're still taking her inventory. You started that text that I just read an excerpt from.
I sent that when she sent someone to come pick up my grandsons, whom I had since Tuesday, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm good enough when you need to go to the doctor, when you want to lay up and get your sleep and rest. And then because I asked your husband to pick them up the following morning, you have them snatched away. So that unleashed the dragon. I felt the rage.
Okay, well, let's talk about let's talk about unleashing the dragon.
And that's why I let it on you.
On Thursday, February 11th, you did send an email. The subject is low-life ass. And it said in part, you're a miserable, hateful, low-life bitch. A low-down, black-hearted snake. You're dead to me, you blank snake. You're the reason poor Maxwell died, you rotten bitch. Now, seriously,
Yes.
you're going to tell me that there is a context in which you send your daughter, who has just lost a child, and where were you on February 11th?
I was still in the hospital. I was laying in the hospital bed recovering from a C-section.
You know what?
The only thing is, she said.
Here's the problem.
No, let her talk. I'm asking her a question. Okay, go ahead.
I lay in the hospital bed after my surgery. She calls me, tells me so-and-so sends their condolences. I listened to that for about 2 days. The third day, I couldn't take it anymore. I said, you know what? I know you mean well, but I don't think it was right for you to tell everyone right away about Maxwell's death.
Let her speak. All right, go ahead.
I told her, I don't think it's right that you're telling all of your friends, putting it on Facebook, calling everyone that you know, and telling them about Maxwell's death before I even had the opportunity, me and my husband, to process it. She snapped. Moments later, that's when all the text messages and all the emails started.
No.
And she called me ungrateful. And at that exact moment, Dr. Phil, I was grateful that she had my other kids while I was in the hospital.
Yeah.
I've always been grateful, but at that exact moment, I felt as though...
No gratitude.
Okay, stop. Now, I'm gonna ask you to leave the stage if you can't control yourself here, because I'm gonna give you the floor in just a minute and let you say everything you want to say, but you're not going to continue to interrupt here.
I apologize, Dr. Phil.
And I know it's hard.
It is.
But I'm going to give you.
Because it's lies.
That's how she does.
That's all it is.
You see?
Okay.
And she wants to play. She's such the victim. Oh, poor little Miss Private is the perfect victim.
Okay, hold on. Are you saying you're here to justify these texts and emails to your daughter while she's in the hospital bed having lost a child?
No, sir, that's not what I'm saying.
Well, what are you saying?
What I am saying is, if it was all about she's grieving and she didn't need to take the time to double back and have more conversation with me because it was a dead topic.
When you said she's grieving, you said that in a mocking tone.
I did. Kyrie's disrespectful times 10. The names he's called me, the things he's said, just disgraceful. I've called Kyrie a deadbeat. I did a roundhouse karate kick in Kyrie's chest, punched him, beat him with a vacuum once. He treats me like I'm a piece of paper underneath his foot.
My mom is loving, God-fearing, but can be vindictive, cold-hearted, abusive. When my mother's upset, she turns into like a mad woman, crazy. One of the biggest problems that my mother and I have faced came from her not being able to understand how to raise a male without a father figure. My mom has troubles and problems with impulse control and anger. One of the most hurtful things that she said to me out of anger was I would end up like my father, dead in the grave. The minute you're not agreeing with whatever she feels or believes, it just turned. It wasn't always just verbal anger. She could whoop us, and whatever we did didn't even cause for a whooping. Whooping would be because of bad grades, fighting. One of the reasons she said was because I looked like my father. Some of the things she's used to discipline us could be her hand, my belt, and the worst would be the extension cord. I want Dr. Phil to show my mom how to be accountable for all the hurt she's caused us. My family's dynamic is completely broken.
Kiara and Kyrie, they say they've been abused or mistreated. I tell them to tell me how.
Between the ages of 10 and 17, Teresa definitely abused me. Beating me in front of people, pushing me, shoving me.
I remember getting disciplined with an extension cord where she hit me from moving. It hit me like right here in my arm, and it left a little nick. She called the police. When the cops came to do the report, he saw my welt on my arm, and he booked her.
If she cooked dinner and we didn't leave her some, she would start yelling, screaming. Whoever's around, you'll get the first lick.
When I hear my children say they've been abused, I laugh because I tell them that abused children, most of them are dead or in a foster home. And I say, where are you? You're not in the graveyard. I could have done them way worse.
Teresa has called me whore, fat, ugly, lesbian, hairy. It causes me to look at myself in the mirror and think maybe she's right. Maybe I am fat. Maybe I am ugly. If my own mother could say this, then it must be true.
I can remember when I was about 12 or 13, I got my ears pierced. I just remember her just, smacking me like in the face. I grabbed her wrist. She called the police. They were like, well, you're getting booked. I was like, for what? You strangled her. You put your hands around her neck. Definitely did not do that.
Teresa will always apologize, but it's never sincere.
She said, I would never, ever do anything to hurt my own children. They're my seed. But the two of you tell a different story.
See how she just punched her hand
Well,
a little while ago?
She has.
That's how you get knocked in your
Dr.
head.
Phil, that's partly because they're like bread and butter. Even though I didn't have Kiara and Kyrie as twins, they operate as evil twins. It's why I refer to them as Chucky and his bride, because they look past their wrong, and I stand as their mother and authority figure, and they could care less.
She's always kept us reminded about all the bad things we've done, we've said. The biggest thing was wanting her to take accountability for things that she's done. And that's been the...
Such as?
Saying that I'll end up like my father dead in the grave.
And
to this
said
day,
that why?
been
Because
said.
I always tried to tell you, son, I've always tried to make sure that it was two things you stayed out of, prison and the grave.
But you actually put him in jail.
I did.
Sure did.
Exactly.
He put his hands on me, Dr. Phil. He put his hands on me, he hit me, and at the end of the day, it was either two things. I could have killed him then and been in prison myself, or I let the law deal with it, and that's what happened.
If she had a choice where she was either going to kill you or call the police, I would rather her call the police.
Yeah, because
obviously those aren't the only two choices.
He wouldn't be here right now.
Understandable. I
if
mean,
in her mind,
he definitely would not be sitting here right now if I had took the alternate.
Welcome to our life.
Yeah, this is what I
y'all
didn't do
go
it
ahead.
right.
I'm going to take a break.
Teresa treats Trayvon like he's the golden child.
Trayvon could do no harm in my mother's eyes.
Trayvon doesn't curse me.
I feel like I don't have anyone to make me feel like special.
Trayvon has always had my back.
Trayvon is Teresa's favorite, period.
I think the biggest problem with my siblings and my mom, they don't know how to listen to each other. It seems like they just try to cut each other's necks off. Instead of walking away from the situation, they always lure me into hearing their side of the stories, and they don't take accountability for their actions. Kyrie is the most disrespectful. The name calling, I feel like, shouldn't come out of a male's mouth to a woman. When my mom pushes Kyrie's buttons, she tends to bash him about his parenting, his finances. The difference between my relationship with my mom versus my siblings is I don't engage. Right or wrong, I'm gonna always side with her because that's my mom. I wouldn't call my mom psycho, but she is crazy. When she told my sister that she had wished she died instead of the baby, I feel like it was kind of like the last straw. When I saw the messages that my mom had sent to my sister, they were harsh.
My mom, she had a very rough childhood. She's been raped. She's been stabbed in the head.
I feel like my trauma has caused me to inflict pain on others with my words and my actions.
I believe the reason why we've had problems and going through what we've gone through as a family can easily be traced back to those traumas. She never really was able to be affectionate, especially with my brothers and I.
I never thought about that growing up. I just thought that, she didn't love us.
I realize that you're caught in the middle in all of this, and
Yes, sir.
I want you to hear me say that being a peacemaker, being a mediator here, that's not your job. Your job is to be you and to have joy in your life and to have some fun. And if these two and your mom never get along, that's between them.
Okay.
Teresa's other son, Daryl, has also been listening, and he's now joining us virtually. Daryl, thank you so much for joining us. Anything just burning that you feel the need to say based on everything that you've heard so far?
I do believe that my mom has anger issues. She's not a psycho. It's just that my personal feelings, before that she had children, she had a life herself. She was a kid herself. She does have brothers and sisters and a mother that don't respect her or care for her. And that causes a whole lot of pain to where certain situations cannot get handled correctly.
You were just 5 years old when you were in such an abusive situation that you got stabbed in the head.
Yes.
You were raped at 16. You were
Yes.
physically abused
Yes.
your entire life. Their
Yes.
father was murdered.
Yes.
It kind of causes you to see the world in a way that you kind of adopt a philosophy of get them before they get me.
Yes.
You just have your dukes up and you just see the world as a hurtful place. And
I
so,
put my war clothes on.
yeah,
That's how I've lived.
yeah,
I've lived with rules of engagement for war.
that doesn't make it okay, but if you can understand why she would do something like that because she doesn't have any other way of responding in her behavioral repertoire. She's got two modes, either she's either shut down or she's in attack mode.
That's
That-
110.
there's no, she goes 0 to 60 in
Seconds.
0.2
It's not
seconds.
funny, but yeah.
I tell you that because I want you to contextualize it so you don't validate it. If she tells you that you're fat, if she tells you that you're ugly, that if she tells you that you should have died, you need to understand that's not valid input from a mother to a daughter. And so you need to discount that input. You are a beautiful woman. You're a beautiful mother.
I don't feel like it.
Well, I understand that, but it's true. You're a beautiful spirit.
Yeah.
She's a great
and-
sister too, Dr. Phil.
That's
Great
right.
sister.
I want all of you kids to know that your mother is damaged. Trayvon, do you hear what I'm saying when I say it's not your job to fix this? When I hear you say, I just don't have any hope, that just breaks my heart.
Yeah, it hurts.
You are the hope.
That's why maybe I feel like I try to not, pick sides or
You get drugged
go
into it.
against.
You don't have to pick sides. The only side is your side and the
Right.
family side.
Right.
And if one of them tries to imply that you are, turn a deaf ear to that,
Right.
because it's absolutely not true. Now, Teresa, you're emotionally broken.
I am.
The things that have happened to you, the trauma that you've been through, the losses that you've suffered, they change a person. They change who you are. I don't think you're an evil person. I think you have some evil ways.
I do.
And you've got to heal this, and I'm willing to arrange for you to have some professional help with this
Yes.
if you'll take that help. And I know we're in a pandemic,
Right.
and I'll arrange some teletherapy for you to do this through Doctor on Demand, and you can do this privately, just you, to talk about some of this. And I'm not talking about family therapy, because you're not ready for family therapy. What you need to do is take care of you.
And that's what I've been trying to do. All I've been told was I'm crazy, I'm this and I'm that, and I am broken inside and out. It's like I've been giving and giving and giving. And
Okay,
it's
well, let
like
me
I
tell
don't
you
have
that.
nothing else to give.
Well, let me tell you, I'm here to give to you. And in fairness to these people, you're a little bit like hugging a porcupine. You're a little prickly, so you're a little hard to hug,
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm not here to judge. I'm here to help you, and I'm
Yeah.
offering to get you this help. I'll set up 10 sessions for you immediately with a doctoral level therapist, and at the end of that time, depending on how hard you work and what you do, then maybe there might be room to have a family session and talk about some rules and guidelines for trying to take this a step at a time. But let's begin with that,
Yes.
okay? And I would also like to offer you the same thing to help you in processing and accommodating with this loss that you've just been through when you're ready, okay? And I would give her some space, and I would let them give you some space
Yes.
until you've had some time to do what I'm talking about doing,
And
okay?
I would like to say, please accept my apology. I wholeheartedly repent from the bottom of my heart.
You didn't do terrible. You didn't do terrible.
The
All I
time-
wanted for us to do is that when it's good, we're good. But when things get bad,
it
we're not
gets
even
bad.
family. I want us to be able to deal with things competently and healthy
Yes.
when we're
Well,
bad.
let this process work through and
Yes.
keep some space until then,
Yes.
okay? All right, you need the space,
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
all right? Now, if you at home want to have your own doctor on demand, whether it's medical or psychological, then you can go to the Google Play Store or the Apple Store and download Doctor on Demand app. And that's a company that my son and I founded, so we are very confident in the professionals that we have there. But that'll be between you and them.
She claims her mother, Teresa,
Let's take a look at the message you sent. I wish Maxwell had survived and you died.
is no Mother Teresa.
This moment with my son was not about you.
It is about me.
New Dr. Phil. Check your local listings.